Alright, so today I'm in the spirit of the process that originally I followed 10 years ago when I wrote these meditations. I'm moving in a slightly different direction. That is to say, just today, anyway, I decided that I want to place these commemorative documentations, videos, readings of this material in the context of what's happening for me now, and insofar as it relates, right? So the commentary, the written commentary that's on the blog, which is not necessarily attached to this video on YouTube, talks about material that I was reading today in relation to this project that I'm on since I finished this Lapis paper, and that is a paper, rather a project that includes some research on Andean, Incan specifically, cosmologies, as well as the Argentinian philosopher Rodolfo Kusch. And so that's documented in the description. So it relates quite well to the things I've been saying in terms of the process of writing, as well as to the ineffable, which is under discussion. So, the sage's invocation invites the creative response, as it indicates the way of groundbreaking poetic dialogue. Such dialogue emerges through the reciprocation of creative responding, the submission of evocative sayings to painstaking listening. Poetic dialogue, as the way of learning, is situated in the midst of the twofold play, and thereby makes the originary relationship between being and being, small b, large B. Thus, the ineffable is the fundamental ground of poetic dialogue, for it appears as that which always remains in excess, and thereby represents the possibility inherent in language. This excess is conveyed in evocative speech and received in painstaking listening. The conveying invocation of the sage's saying points to the ineffable. The ineffable identifies that which is present but not immediately known and accessible. Plotinus has described the ineffable as, quote, the chief difficulty. But we can understand this difficulty as something akin to the originary questions taken up by learning. The ineffable appears at the heart of the first questions. These questions convey the ineffable. The questions point toward that which is the ground of the questioning stand, the root of learning. Lao Tzu calls this source, quote, the mysterious quality of the Tao. The Tao produces all things and nourishes them. It produces them and does not claim them as its own. It does all and yet does not boast of it. It presides over all, and yet does not control them. That's from the Tao Te Ching, Part 1, Chapter 2, Lines 3. We have said that the sage, as mediator, gathers the poetic dwelling of learning by conveying the appeal of language, a beckoning which we have now identified as the ineffable, the mysterious quality of the Tao, the chief difficulty of the One, the wisdom of Logos. To convey this appeal is to let the manifold appearance be, the manifold appearance of alterity. Thus, the ineffable makes its appearance as the sheltering of the mysterious, the enchanting, the unforeseen. If the ineffable appears as the sheltering of the mysterious, then the work of learning, guided by the sage, unfolds as the groundbreaking of the way that is not immediately known. Responding to the appeal of language involves attacking, a response to the directive of the wind and tide, a making of a path along the unforeseen way. This work is the labor of learning, the exercise of freedom as the steadfast openness and response to the unforeseen. It is the stranger's response to Heraclitus when he conveys the hidden presence of the gods and the crossover and dwelling with him. Heraclitus says, quote, "Whoever cannot seek the unforeseen sees nothing, for the known way is an impasse." Fragment 7. The known way is the well-worn highway of instrumental reason that the apprentice has leaped beyond. To have leaped or crossed over into the company of the sage is to take up poetic dwelling. This dwelling we now see as a making, a building, the creation of being together, the cultivation of community, the sowing of the seeds of friendship, and the reaping of the harvest of mindfulness as the thinking of the people who are enjoined in the heeding of the call of being. To heed the call of being, then, is to take up the work of being that manifests in the mysterious quality. To respond to the appeal is to take the creative stand of cultivation which produces and nourishes, presides over, yet does not control. This response is the essence of the exercise of freedom as a letting be that enables the flourishment of the truth of appearance, a truth that always already is hiding and waiting and appealing for the groundbreaking work that will clear the way for its unfolding. When Heidegger says, "Yet man is capable of dwelling only if he has already built," is building and remains disposed to build in another way, this other way signifies the way of the unforeseen. The mediating performance of the sage guides the community of learners in the building that shelters the appearance of this unforeseen way, that shelters the appeal of the ineffable, and thereby the appearance of the ineffable. If the ineffable makes its appearance as the sheltering of the mysterious, then this appearance must be preserved by a building. Learning unfolds in the preservation of this appearance, the truth of concealment that conserves the unforeseen and its hiding. The ineffable, the mysterious quality, is the fecund ground that preserves the ground for the binomial cornucopia of the many to appear. This ground, the mysterious one, is the ultimate horizon which produces and nourishes all beings, but does not claim or possess them, but releases them, lets them be, allows them to flourish as other. Freedom is the essence of learning, is the cultivation and caring for the ground upon which the many makes its appearance. The exercise of freedom is the painstaking listening that cultivates and cares for the apprentice of the appearance of the manifold. Let me read that again. The exercise of freedom is the painstaking listening that cultivates and cares for the appearance of the manifold of difference, articulating itself in the reciprocal exchange of a plurality of voices. This listening is the work of making an authentic community, which is built upon the foundation of mindfulness, steadfast openness, and readiness for the unforeseen. And I would, if you want some more context and some interesting connections that I made, that were made for me, or that appeared to me today in the work I was doing that's running parallel to this 10-year commemoration, I highly recommend that you check out the blog post that's going to correspond to this meditation reading video that is documenting the material read this day, May the 16th, originally written 10 years ago today, 2004, and documented today in 2014.